Hello there, IELTS students. Prepare for IELTS in 10 days. My name is Ben Worthington. In this video, I'm going to tell you how you can prepare for IELTS in 10 days and how you can get ahead. How you can get ahead with this exam and get it out of the way and pass. So let's jump straight into it. Now, admittedly, this is not the ideal situation. But as we say in the UK, there is no point crying over spilt milk. That means there's nothing we can do about it now. We've got 10 days. So let's focus and allocate a different task. Let's just allocate the time the best we can. So first, these are the quick tips. First of all, get familiar with the exam. This will make you more confident, because you'll know what to expect, you'll know the process, you'll know the sequence. And if you know what's going to happen, then you can relax a little bit and allocate more mental resources onto the task, answering the question, understanding the examiner, all these things. Next, how do we get familiar with the exam? Well, if you've never taken it before, you need to do the practice exams. Maybe you've got time to do a full paper. If you do, that is fantastic. If you don't, then what you need to do is sort of like get an overview and look at the questions and look at the answers simultaneously and dissect it, deconstruct it and dissect it. And this way you can look like, okay, so the question format is like this, and the answers are in this block of text, for example, for the reading. Likewise with the listening, maybe get the listening audio and the transcript, and then the question paper, and try and just deconstruct. Have a look at the different types of questions you're going to be asked. Basically, it's just general familiarity with the exam. Now, if you don't have the money to spend on exam papers, past exam papers, or you don't have the time, you can go to scribd.com. I'll put it in the notes, and you can just find old practice exams there, and people have uploaded copies of exam papers they've had and from books, and it's just an economical way to get your preparation going. So the next part, so if we're using the practice papers for the reading and the listening, we still have the speaking and the writing. And once again, we want to get familiar with the questions, we want to get familiar with the format, and we're going to do exactly the same. Deconstruct it, analyze it, dissect it, know certain tricks or tactics or strategies of the examiners. For example, in part 3, the questions might be repeated but using different words, just to see if you can explain the same thing as you just explained but in a different manner. Just little components like this, so you are aware of what's actually happening in the exam. Now, also, when we're preparing for all of these areas, we need to use points. So you need to get feedback. With the papers, it's easier to get feedback because you've got the answers there and you can compare your answers with the official answers. However, with the speaking and with the writing, it's slightly different. You need to get feedback either from a tutor, from a friend, from a colleague, from anybody, and just say, look, is there any words here that you don't understand? Or is there any way that I can improve my speaking so that you can understand me better? So that's for the speaking. I mean, obviously it's not the most complete way, but we're talking about 10 days here. So with the writing, this is a little bit easier because that you can get your essay corrected and you can find out where you're making errors. So it's a bit quicker to improve in this area. By the way, if you are going to go for getting your essay corrected, try and get one with the 24-hour correction, because I know that when you're preparing for an exam, your motivation can come and it can go. So if you've got fast turnaround for your essays, then it's more like still going to be motivated when you get your essay back. And another tip is as soon as you get your essay back, have a look at it, analyze it, and then write your next essay and get another essay correction. Okay? Don't buy these silly services where you just send 10 essays all at once. That's ridiculous. What you need to do is just sort of like take, maybe send 2 essays, get feedback, implement the feedback, learn from the errors, and then write some more essays. Okay? Now, if you are in a very, very desperate situation, or if you just want to pass first time, you might also want to consider investing in a course. I mean, if the course costs you, I don't know, $150 and the exam costs you $300, then if you buy the course and you pass first time, then you basically saved yourself $150. Whereas if you do the exam, you fail. And you do the exam, you fail. And then that's already $600 you've passed, assuming it's $300 to take the test. That's already $600 you have spent and you still haven't passed. So an online course can guide you through the process, and it can give you the feedback you need and the resources you need. Now, one last tip with your writing. Sorry, this is a bit out of sequence, but I just remembered with the writing, what you really need to do is upgrade your writing to academic English. By academic English, I mean we're going to be using however instead of but. We're not going to be using contractions. We're going to be using more formal examples, all these areas. There's videos about this on my channel, but this is critical because you may have excellent writing skills, but it's different from having excellent general writing skills to having academic English writing skills or writing in an academic style. These two are quite different, and they both have their own registers. They both have their own sort of like styles and customs and rules. Now then, next one, final tip, almost final tip. Write an essay every single day. Even if you're not getting feedback, which would be, I know it's not ideal, but sometimes you can't afford to be getting feedback every day, I understand. So what you can do is you should still write an essay every single day, and then you take responsibility and you analyze it and you self-correct it, okay? So go through, take fragments of your sentence, put them into Google. If you find that there are other sentences like this, do an exact match search, then it's probably correct. But if you only find, 300 results with that exact match phrase, then it's probably spelled incorrectly. And you could even use Google Suggest, it's like, did you mean this? But what I'm saying is write an essay every day, get into the habit and get familiar with the questions. Next one. But if you are doing the essay correction, if you are writing an essay every day, it is advisable to get some feedback, external feedback from a friend, from a tutor, or from an online essay correction service. Now, the final one is if you've got 10 days left to prepare for the exam, then you want to immerse yourself in the language. You want to be using it every single day. You want to be thinking in English, dreaming in English, eating in English. So that means fish and chips every single day. Now, I'm just joking about the fish and chips, but you do want to be fully immersed in the language. So if you're going to the supermarket, and maybe you're in a country like Peru, obviously they don't speak English there, but you want to be like thinking, okay, how do I say this in English? Or what would I say to the cashier if I were in England now? And just try and do these mental exercises and start thinking. So if you're planning your day and you're like, okay, I've got to go to the bakery, I want to go to the hairdressers, and I need to drop off something at the bank. How am I going to say this? Do that exact thought process in English, okay? I did this all the time when I was learning Spanish, and helped me improve vastly because I'm recalling vocabulary, I'm recalling constructions. So this is a massive, massive advantage. It just keeps the language fresh in your head. Likewise, if you are lucky and you live in Australia or England or another English-speaking country, then you not only should be doing this, but you can also extend it and start interacting with other people. But that's another topic in another video. So if you've got 10 days to prepare, immerse yourself in English, get familiar with the exam, with all components, get the practice papers and get some feedback and focus on improving on the areas where you're losing points. So my name is Ben Worthington. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to get ahead with this, and good luck with your IELTS preparation. Goodbye.